Welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, the podcast for all things Mecha. Jumpship incoming.
And welcome to Mobile Armor Radio, episode 14. I think we're just going with consecutive numbers. We're not doing seasons. I don't know if we ever decided that.
You can do both. Season 2, episode 14.
It's season 2, episode 3? 2? Something like that. Anyways, I'm Rob.
I'm
Bryan.
Alphabetical order, Pat.
Still can't get it right.
Both
off
you,
to a good start.
both you have names higher up in the alphabet, so you get confused.
Yeah, well, we also decided that we were going to do it on who's next in hosting order.
No, we didn't. It was alphabetical order.
Was it?
Yes.
I think it's always been alphabetical order.
Oh, shit, no wonder.
It's all your fault.
We could change it up. We can make that the new thing this year.
For season 2.
Just to confuse us all.
Yes.
We have fun here.
Yeah, we're just chaos. But yeah, we have a lot to talk about. There's lots of news. So I've done some stuff. I don't know if you guys have done anything. We're gonna get into it. And as always, you can go to our Facebook group that has a lot of our posts that we'll be talking about. I try to also post in the Discord when we talk about stuff, so it's in two different places for those who don't use Facebook. And yeah, I think that's about it. That's our intro. Is that a good intro?
Sounds
That's
good.
a good intro.
We'll be back with the Dropship.
Dropship landing.
Okay, welcome back. We're in the Dropship. We've been working on stuff. This is where I get to randomly say a person's name and they have to start talking about something. So I'm going to say, Bryan, what have you been working on?
Well, the ExFil.End Mecha project has once again kind of had to be put on to the side, as I've got a Kings of War tournament coming up, and so I had some giant monsters to paint up. So kind of tangentially, they kind of connect in that I had to build a giant treeman, a tree herder from Mantic's Kings of War Elf Army line. Pretty neat. It's basically a giant ant-looking thing. It's got a little bird's nest in its head, and I put googly eyes on it just to tick everybody off.
on the tree or the bird nest?
On the tree, but I do have enough eyes for the bird nest too.
You gotta get real little ones for the bird nest.
Yeah. So yeah, it's mostly been that, and then I did a dragon as well, where I kind of mocked up a rider for it with a custom saddle. So not quite mecha, but giant things with riders occasionally. We
can call them kaiju.
Yeah. But once again, I've been meaning to bust into my backlog of Gundams and sets and stuff like that. Just haven't had a chance to this month. It's been kind of crazy.
It's always something.
Mm-hmm. I know. I just make excuses. How about you, Pat? What have you been up to?
Actually, not a thing.
God damn it. Why do we even do this? I'm quitting.
This is the bad part of the year for me. You know this.
Yeah.
Well,
all of July
Gen
and all
Con
of
is coming
August
up. Yeah.
is taken up because of Gen Con. Like I already spent 3 full days in the storage locker organizing all the stock and everything, so I don't have a lot of time. And then
yep, stupid Walking Dead blisters, they haunt your dreams, don't they?
The Walking Dead. Well, that's now finished and organized, so I can scratch that nightmare off my list.
Now it's onto a no one. Now it's onto Vanguard or something else.
So, and then I got. So this is just gonna be my. All I've worked on is just me bitching about work.
Not getting a chance to do anything.
Yeah. I mean, because now I've had to move a lot of the boxes because I got a mold problem going on now because I guess there was some standing water in the back of the shed. So
geez.
A lot of the boxes were moldy on the bottom and
sucks.
that seeped into some of the, so some of the cardboard mats, or not the cardboard mats, the neoprene mat boxes. Well, the neoprene mats are fine. The boxes that they come in are just toast. So now I can't sell this stuff.
Yeah, we better take those off your hands.
Crap.
So I'm in the press. So when I have free time, it's doing all that. That being said, I did play a game of Cav.
That's later. That's in the ComStar section.
Then I am not talking about it at all right now. But I have not done any painting. I've actually, or building as anything really. I just this is we're at crunch time now. I mean, we're recording for August, but I'm we're a week away from Gen Con, so
when this comes out, we'll all be at Gen Con. So
yeah, I mean, it's just I can't even.
It's a crazy time.
Yeah, it's a crazy time. I mean, I think the last thing I did mech wise was film the Tiny Epic Mechs video.
Yeah.
So go to our YouTube channel if you want to learn about how to play Tiny Epic Mechs and see what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, the Kickstarter came in. I finally got mine. So we'll be talking about that probably in ComStar where it belongs, Pat.
Also, I'm just saying I worked on something which happened to be Tiny Epic Mechs video.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
The actual production of the video, that's all you
exactly,
can
that's what I'm talking about. So. But honestly, yeah, I mean, this is a bad time for me of the year.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've been working on something because luckily I get Gundam loot every month, and that gives me something to do. Otherwise, I would be just like you guys. But
I had to stop getting the Gundam loot.
Yeah, because the pile just kept getting higher of things you haven't done.
It's horrible.
But this month was the Gundam F91, which
nice.
The HG one. I have the HG Gundam loot, so it was cool. He was really fun to put together, and he has a lot of options. And it also came with a chibi guy on a SD guy at least, but he came with a motorcycle, which was kind of cool. And I immediately stole the motorcycle off that guy and gave it to my RX 78. The SD version I have of him, so my RX is now sitting on a motorcycle. So that was kind of cool. The motorcycle was cool. The actual SD kit was I can't remember the name of the series. It's some weird series. They all look kind of like almost fantasy, these SD guys.
Was it the SD Gundam series?
I don't
like with the swords and like the fire.
I don't know if it's actually. I don't think it is Gundam. I guess it is Gundam, but anyways, it's some weird SD series that I refuse to even consider it existing. But it came with a motorcycle, which was cool. It was just slightly too small to put the 144 scale guys on. Otherwise, I would definitely have like one of my gyms was going to be riding a motorcycle. Next time, I'll find something that'll fit. Somebody will get a motorcycle eventually. So that's what I've been working on. So I haven't done much. I just get the Gundam loot. I have tons of backlog of mechs to paint that I haven't, and we'll be talking about how I'm going to be getting more of those soon. Well, not soon, but eventually. And yeah, I haven't done anything else, unfortunately. No other making of stuff. This section is getting smaller and smaller, guys. We have to start working on things, or we're just going to cut it.
After Gen Con, I'll be back in full mode.
Yeah. We'll get back to stuff. Yeah, Gen Con will bring a lot of more stuff to us, too. I'm looking to get some model kits maybe from somewhere. Maybe we'll have to hit up the Japanese place eventually, Pat, if we have time.
Oh, we will on Monday. If we can get loaded up, we can go down to Mitsuya. I was just there today, as a matter of fact.
There you go. Sushi. Good food.
Yes, and I bought groceries, actually, this time.
There you go. That's what you've been working on, buying groceries. Well, after that disappointing segment, we'll go on to ComStar, and then we'll have lots to talk about. ComStar's going to be a long one.
ComStar's what it is, but I mean, just we can't be working on everything all the time.
Stop making fun of you for slacking off.
Yeah.
Message from ComStar.
And this is ComStar. We're into the section where I actually have things to talk about. There's a lot of news. I don't know if you want to go through what you guys are doing first, or go through the news. What do you want to do?
Yeah, let's go through news first, I guess, because there's a lot of news.
There is a lot of news. First thing, I got lots of Pacific Rim news, actually. The Pacific Rim game from River Horse is the Kickstarter just ended, or like it's about to it didn't just end, it was about a year ago, but it's about to ship, and they're doing pre-orders for the game for everybody else, and the link will be in the show notes that you can pre-order the Pacific Rim game. It looks like a pretty fun game, and it's if you're not interested in painting, it's all pre-painted, and they look really cool. Like, a lot of pre-paints suck. Like the...
Can you get it unpre-painted?
I don't think so, but you can always prime it over, and if you want to paint them. And I think they're about 3 inches tall. They're quite big, so we'll have to see. Once I get it, I will unbox it and show it to everyone, because it's going to be fun.
I gotta talk to Ronnie, see if he can get me a copy.
Oh, you. Just add it to the pile that you have. Your dragon horde will get larger. But they're coming out with a lot of extra mechs and stuff from all the different movies, and hopefully they keep doing it, because there is that anime show coming out. And that's the other bit of news, is Netflix announced that the show is slated for 2020. So next year we get the Pacific Rim anime series, and we'll have to check that out. Hopefully get I don't know if it's going to be a continuation, a prequel, or what. I think a prequel would be the best, but we'll see. And or maybe it'll take place concurrently to the storyline. We'll see. Because there's other Jaegers around. Jaegers? How do you pronounce Jaegers? Jaegers, yeah.
Jaeger. You always had that problem with that. Even when it came to Utenheim canon, way back when I first met you guys.
Utenheim?
the Forge Father canons.
Oh, they're another...
Oh. Yep.
Where's this button that allows you to pre-order?
If you click on this link in the show notes, I will. It'll send you to the site that you could go to, and it's pretty cool. It looks fun. I think I will have some fun playing it, but we'll see. And the next bit of news is Cav is coming out with Battlescribe. Battlescribe for Cav is out. I think it's if it's not completed, it's close to being completed, and you'll be able to build your lists that way, which is pretty good, because it's always a bit confusing doing lists when you first start owning a game, and Battlescribe is a great way to learn to do lists. Have you tried it out yet, Pat?
I have not. I still like the Force Manager that you get off of the Talon website.
Yeah, they have their own app. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, the reason why I like it is because when you print, it changes the stats for when you add like hyped up or amped up weapons. It changes the stats on your sheet, so you don't have to worry about making sure your stats are correct on the sheets. So I don't know if Battlescribe does that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, that'd be interesting to find out. I haven't played with it.
If you get overcharged, whatever that thing is, where your engine is overcharged and you move faster. So your movement stat is changed when you print.
I wonder if they'll have things that'll change it. I've only used it for Dead Zone, but...
Yeah, anyone who's played around with the Cav Battlescribe, post on our Discord channel or Facebook page, let me know if that's a thing, because if it is, then I would definitely love to try it out. I think anything that changes when you print, updates your stats when you print, is always a bonus, because there's so many upgrades you can put on a Cav. And
changes it totally, yeah.
Yeah, so anything that takes that out of my hands is great. So that's why I like the Force Manager still so much, because it does that.
Yeah. That's cool. But Battlescribe it's a fun little resource if you're playing any games. It's pretty much any game is in there. It's usually fan supported, but this one is actually being done by the Cav guys themselves, so it's going to be up to date, which is always nice. That's what the problem with the Dead Zone 1 is. It's out of date now with the new book, so you have to watch out for that for this. But hopefully, since it's an official one, they'll keep up to date on it. So any changes they'll put out in Battlescribe, it's a good way to keep up with the FAQs if everything gets fixed right away. So fun times. Another show that's is Genlock, which is the show from who is it? Rooster Teeth? Yeah.
Yes.
They're getting their own DC comic, which is kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so they're
good for them.
Yeah, they're expanding into the comic world with a big publisher too. And the show is also getting a release on Adult Swim, so if you didn't catch it online, because it was behind a paywall, I think, it's going to be on TV. Mm-hmm. So, and then probably also on the Adult Swim site, because I think they show the shows on there too. So yeah, you get a chance to catch up on Genlock. Really fun show. I hope to see more of that. And it's nice to see that the story's continuing in the comic, which I will be picking up because I think it's a great world. And
it was refreshing. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah. Interesting little show. Another piece of news is that the Robotech license has been extended, much to the chagrin of many people.
I know, everyone was so, including myself, was so happy that was coming up. And then...
Yeah. It's Harmony Gold deal with Tatsunoko has continued to make Robotech, and it will continue for years to come, they said. So it's they've not released how long this deal is for, it's been extended for, but...
Well, who made that statement? Harmony Gold? Or...
Oh yeah, Harmony Gold made that statement, for sure.
So we don't know if that's true or not, because...
Well, it's been extended, we don't know how long, so...
But I'm saying it because they said many years to come.
But it's, the thing with,
Could be 2.
Well, yeah. But, Tatsunoko, they know that it's just, Harmony Gold is a licensing company. It's just they're just making money off of it. They know that people keep buying the products, and Harmony Gold doesn't care that they don't do anything with it other than just sell products. That's the whole point of their business model, so. And everybody's making money off of it, obviously. It's not good for the fans, probably. The fans want to see more of the Macross stuff be allowed to be in the States and stuff like that, but we're a global market. If you want to see Macross, you can get Macross, you don't need it on Netflix. You can find it other ways.
The more recent versions of the show, actually, I think you can buy the Japanese Blu-rays with English subtitles on them.
Exactly.
And
a lot of companies import them to the United States and North America. So I don't think you need Harmony's Gold permission to go get that stuff, even though it would maybe make it easier. It would be on things like Netflix, but you can do it. If you really want to see those shows, you can still do it. Stop complaining. But it does suck, because Harmony Gold, every time they do, like right now we're recording this, San Diego Comic-Con's on right now, and every time they have a panel, it's the exact same slides, and they say the exact same things, and sometimes there's a few new products here and there, but generally it's just products coming out. They keep hyping this movie that's supposed to happen, but it's not really progressing very much, so we'll see if it actually happens, but they have no incentive to actually do anything other than just license the product. The good thing is they license it to people that are doing good things now, like all the card games. A new miniature game is supposedly coming out from Kids Logic and things like that, so hopefully they choose better licensors than they have in the past, but other than that, we just have to suck it up, and if you want Robotech, you're going to be getting it through Harmony Gold. Sorry, people.
Yeah.
Yep. But the other great news is that Battletech is on a resurgence. They have reprinted the tech manual, and they have a new
Very excited about that.
Yep, it's a new version of it. They have Alpha Strike Commander's Edition, which combines the 2 previous Alpha Strike books with all the errata and everything. The Game of Armor Combat box sets are back in stock, and the beginner box is being reprinted, so you're going to be able to get all those. And the neoprene battle mats, which have been only available at cons, are coming soon to be available off their website online, so anybody can buy those, which is nice. I know at Adepticon, those mats sold in seconds.
That's a smart move, man. I mean, everyone loves the neoprene. That's the new... Back in the 90s, it was having felt down to play your war games. Now it's neoprene. Yeah, neoprene. It's the way to go, I'm telling you.
Yeah, then it's a mouse. If anybody doesn't know, it's the mouse pad material, and it's great. All the Mantic mats are all neoprene mostly.
I'm buying them now for those tiny Epic games. Just because it makes playing.
Yeah, it's a nice surface plan. It's got a little rubberized back, so it doesn't slide.
It's a better play experience, I guess. Yeah. Is what I'm trying to say.
And it's much better than the paper mats that the Battletech games usually come with. So, if you get a chance, grab some neoprene mats. And also, with this other big news, is that their Battletech Clan Invasion Kickstarter is now live, and they are offering tons of new mats. Just because it says Clan Invasion, Pat, there's tons of Inner Sphere stuff, lots of nice stuff, and it's huge. Go to the Kickstarter if you're interested.
I just hope they fix the problem.
Well, the problem was the people you play with. I think that's the problem.
No.
It's all about, hopefully, the whole idea of the clans is, they could just kick someone's butt, but you have to be able to even it out by in the books and everything, and they have their bidding, where they do the bare minimum they need to win. So it's all on the clans to fight on an even playing field, right? So you have to incorporate that into the game somehow. And if, I would just do that myself anyways. If I was with friends, I'd be like, okay, let's figure out a way to do this. But hopefully,
yeah, I agree. I mean, it's just, I get it in story wise, sure, initially, but then it was just unreasonable after that.
Yeah, well, the industry had to catch up with their technology and stuff, but to include some kind of bidding system that makes it even, I don't know if they could do that there, but at least do that with your own games so it makes it even so the clan people don't just trounce the Innersphere all the time. Or just two, I think 3-1, that's the thing.
Or just don't play with the clans.
Or just play earlier. But you can get Innersphere mechs of this. They're also redesigning the elementals, which is cool. So you can get little elemental stands now. And it's going to be all in plastic, too, all this stuff. And tons of stuff. The Kickstarter went crazy. It was up into the hundreds of thousands. Like, I think last time I looked, it was over 700,000. And they've been trying to catch up with all their stretch goals. A lot of it is new books and new stories and PDFs and stuff, so it's going to be a lot of that stuff. Plus, there's a lot of new mechs being redesigned. A lot of the unseen are back, which is nice. We talked about that before. Yeah. So this Kickstarter is just really the big relaunch of Battletech. I think the beginner box and the Game Armor Combat boxes were good, but this is the real kick to be the next level. And I'm glad it's not in the Jihad era or the you hate when I say that too, right, Pat?
I do a little bit.
And or the Dark Age of the clicky game. It's good that it's back to the classic.
Oh yeah, the Dark Age. I think didn't we talk about them just going to ignore the Dark Age?
Well, it's WizKids that's their timeline. I think that each, and then the Jihad, as you like to say, was the who was the other company? FanPro. FanPro was that level. So every time a company picked it up, they tried to make it their own by changing the timeline. Where I'm glad to see Catalyst is just going back to the timeline everyone loved. So it's like, 3025 to 3050 if you don't want to play clans, and then 3050 to like 3060 if you want to play for clans. Like, that's the way to go. So I'm happy with that. And like I said, there's lots of these new battle mats coming out, the neoprene ones, with all different they're doing more of this line, so it's going to be more of that kind of stuff too. And if you're interested, go check it out. Once again, the link will be in the show notes. And that's it for the news, I think. Is there anything else I missed?
No, not that I know of.
Brian, did I miss anything?
Not that I can think of. Covered quite a bit.
Yeah, so Pat, have you been watching, playing? You said you've been playing some KF?
Yeah, I played a game of Cav maybe about 3-4 weeks ago, just with my buddy Paul. We were both off, and he had time. He was in the area, and he said, "Hey, you want to play?" And I said, "Sure." So we played a 5,000-point game, Terrans versus my Rock. It looked very bad for me because in the beginning, but then once I got into point blank range, like I'm supposed to be doing, I was able to get in the field. What was killing me was that the Force org for Terrans is they get 5 Cav units per squad, whereas I only got 4. So
they're the clans of the of the Cav world?
Not really, because it's still based on points.
Yeah.
So I'm able to take bigger Cav, less, and he has to take more medium ones. So it balances out in a sense. And then we actually played a game with flyers this time around, so that was actually kind of fun. Cool. He took 2 jets and was just carpet bombing the crap out of my recon guys and killing them left and right. Still reading. Oh Christ! It's not Monstrosity. What is the damn thing?
Primacy.
Primacy.
Yeah, you're a little bit behind. That's why the new one hasn't come out yet.
I know, it's all me.
It's all on you.
I actually started playing Battletech again.
A little game called Battletech.
On the computer.
Oh, the computer game, yes.
Yeah, so I finished the storyline arc on hard, which was a pain in the butt.
Yeah, I'm sure that would be hard.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm just running around doing the Flashpoint stuff.
Nice.
Because I figured that's where you make your money.
Make your monies. Yeah, you do. You definitely get a lot more money doing Flashpoints.
So that's all I've been running is just Flashpoint. So, but surprisingly enough, I haven't done any Flashpoints on an urban setting. So,
no, did you? You got the Urban Warfare DLC?
I did.
Yeah. I do find it's random, so it's like you'll eventually come across them. Have you gotten any of the new Mechs yet? The Raven or any of those?
No. No.
The Raven's kind of neat because it makes it so you can't be targeted by indirect fire and stuff. It's kind of fun.
Oh, that's perfect.
But
those LRM turns are a pain in my ass.
Yeah. Well, I hate the other ones too. So, but they all suck. Turrets and tanks are the worst in that game.
So Cav, some Battletech, reading the comic books. I watched any movies? Thinking if I watched any. No, I haven't actually. So I think that's it for me. I haven't, like, again, when I'm playing Battletech, it's usually like 2 a.m. and I'm just playing one mission and then going to bed, or, you know.
You haven't watched Atlantic Rim again for the 100th time?
No, I'd like to see, Christ, what was that one? Gunhead. I'd like to watch it again.
You're going to watch that one again with a new perspective?
I would, because it's so awesome.
Well, Brian, how about you? What have you been up to?
Not as much. It's, like I said earlier, been kind of busy, so like all I've been into is kind of only tangentially related to Mecha recently. Two things was I saw the new Godzilla movie. So giant kaiju stomping over the planet. That was always fun. And then I also got myself a copy of Shin Godzilla and watched that. It was the most recent Japanese one.
Yeah, how was that? I was going to watch that the other day.
It's pretty good. Godzilla is kind of a crazy monster, and it's from the director of Evangelion, the Neon Genesis anime.
Yeah.
And it kind of shows.
Yeah.
So, like, Godzilla is like a crazy mutating monster, and it comes at it from this perspective of, like the government's response to a giant monster showing up and tearing up stuff. So it's a fascinating perspective because there aren't like heroes in it. We follow like a set of characters, but it's a bunch of folks doing their government jobs, responding during a crisis, and like trying to like, you know, finding biologists that can come in and help us identify this, that, and the other thing. And, you know, what's the evacuation like? What kind of things are you going to do to counter it? There's a really fascinating discussion about, like, do we drop a nuclear bomb on this thing in the heart of Tokyo? You know, and the context is, like, you know, Japan's the only country that's ever happened to in real world. So it's really, really fascinating. Godzilla is very much a scary monster to be feared in that one. He is not the friend of children. So I definitely recommend it. It's a good one.
He's not nature's way of balancing.
No, he's some kind of freaky mutant fish monster that like bleeds red goop over everything. And when he finally unlocks his ability is laser breath, or basically it goes from like a fireball into this beam, and it's wicked cool. But I don't want to spoil too much of it for people that are looking to see it. Definitely check it out if you like giant monsters and or kind of seeing. It treats it with a level of gravity that's kind of appreciated. And if you're a fan of Hideaki Anno, the director, watching this movie felt like seeing what the first Angel attack would be like in that Evangelion franchise. Instead of an angel, though, it's Godzilla. So, I mean, they have like music from Evangelion in it. I swear.
Oh, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, like when the government's doing stuff and it's like boom, 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 boom.
Maybe he's trying to backdoor in that movie to live action it.
Yeah, I think I forgot one thing as far as news goes. I think the new trailer dropped for Evangelion 4 of the movies. So that's coming pretty soon here, I think.
Yeah, it's cool.
So I don't know if it's going to be. I don't think it's the last one. I think there's one more after it too. I could be mistaken on that. It's been a long time since those movies that came out because he did Shin Godzilla in between.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's see other tangential things. Nah, just been really busy with other things. Oh, the other one was I beat Ace Combat 7 Unknown Skies, which is basically just a fighter jet game set in a fictional world where, like, for example, one of the enemies you come across is this big, like, drone carrier that's flying through the air, and it's got, like, a force shield, and it sends out, like, wings of drones just drop off of it. And so it's very, very much like a sci-fi game, but it's also, like, real-world fighter jets. So that's a lot of fun.
And you forgot the most important thing that I know you're most excited for. That's Top Gun 2 trailer just came out.
I didn't know if you guys were going to let me talk about this. Yeah, Top Gun 2 is pronounced as Maverick, I believe.
Top Gun Maverick's what it's called.
Yeah, Mavericks, and it's Tom Cruise returning to his character from many moons ago. So pretty excited for that one. I do have that question of like, wait, who are we fighting?
Yeah.
It doesn't show much in the trailer other than just low-flying planes.
Yeah, lots of low-flying planes, but the big thing in the original movie was very much the dogfights, and so it'll be really cool to see. A lot of the original movie was like stock footage almost for some of those combat scenes and whatnot, because couldn't exactly afford the real thing, but the jets look really good, and I'm pretty positive we got some real stunts going on with flying. I have no doubt that Tom Cruise is flying one of those fighter jets, because that guy does a lot of his own stunts. So definitely psyched for that one. I think it comes out slated for like next year, I think. So.
Yep.
Keep an eye on that one.
And he's got to fight the undead ghost of Goose. That's when we know it's going to happen.
Yes, Zombie Goose.
Zombie Goose.
Yes.
There is an F-14 at the very end of the trailer, so where they found it, I have no idea.
I think they're still in use. The 14 Tomcats are still in use.
Not in the U.S.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I'm sure there's other countries.
I thought they got relegated to Air Guard.
I think it's the F-18.
Along with the F-16s. F-18s is the... Oh, no, we're using F-111 now, right?
Yeah, I think we've slowly but surely been upgrading, like, our entire flight, like, wings, because we've got the 22s, the 35s. There's a whole bunch of alphabet soup numbers of fighters.
Well, I think it's the F-111s, the strike fighters now, right?
I think so.
Stealth fighters?
Yeah, probably.
Well, save it all for plane talk. I'd let you talk about Top Gun. That's it. I'm cutting you off now.
Okay. I appreciate the time I had talking about it. But other than that, no, I've been a bit more in kind of a fantasy mood, but I've been buying up a whole bunch of like Star Saga stuff, which isn't quite Giant Mecha, but it's in that same Dead Zone world space. So I now have a lot of stuff that was available only to Kickstarter. Thank you, eBay.
There you go. eBay is a friend. Yeah. As for myself,
what have you been up to, Rob?
Yeah, the comics for Robotech, even me would make fun of the art, but this last set here, it's some weird. I think I talked about it before. There's a invasion from a different dimension from the Invid, but the art has gotten so much better. So it's for this one at least the art's gotten better. I don't know how long they can keep it, and it's Simon Furman writing it, which is great. And I've also been reading the Transformers comics with Pat, so that's gonna be fun. Eventually he'll finish Primacy, and we can talk about that one. Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else. The video games, obviously, I still play Battletech a lot, but I've kind of, I've beaten the hell out of that game, so I'm waiting for the next DLC to drop. And I don't know if there's anything else. I started watching Robotech, not from the beginning though, from the Masters, because I've seen the first, like the Macross stuff so often that it's like I'm going to start in the middle. So I started off with that one, and it's
nice.
It's pretty, it's pretty dated, but it's fun, and it's been all right. So I've been enjoying that too, and it ties into the comic book because Dana's in the comic book now, so that's kind of cool. And I guess they're doing a new comic book called Robotech Remix that's coming out. I think it's even crazier, where they're like, hey, what would it be like if Max was the admiral instead of whatever, like it's going to be like kind of what ifs, I think. So we'll see what happens with that. Strange stuff coming from Titan Comics. I think they just want to put something out. So, and the other comic I was reading, I forgot to mention, is Transformers and Ghostbusters. So I know they came out with that toy that is the Ecto-1 that can transform. So now this comic book is all about the Ecto-1. I forget, he's got a weird name. He's got a really long name, but he crash lands on Earth and he scans the Ecto-1, and he takes on that form.
Are you kidding?
And Ghostbusters caught the ghost of Starscream, and Starscream is trying to get his body back, and he needs the help of the Ghostbusters and Ecto-1 to get his body back. And
no.
And back on Cybertron, it's been destroyed pretty much by Zool. She yep. And it's funny when Zool destroyed Cybertron. So it's going to end up the Ghostbusters are going to have to fight Zool and as a giant robot, I'm sure.
And Unicron.
Because I can't remember I can't remember what it was that they did with the form of the destroyer. How it was Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. It was something funny like that, but on Cybertron, it was something ridiculous. So it's a pretty funny. It's obviously a comedy. GoBot. Yeah, it's a comedy book, so it was pretty funny. It's if you enjoy Ghostbusters and Transformers, it's a fun little lark. It's not too serious, but it's a little fun game. And that's about it. I don't know if there's anything else I've been consuming right now, but a lot of comic books, and that's fun. And I can't wait for that Genlock comic. That's going to be the big one for me, so it's going to be good times. So I think we'll end it there. We'll come up back with the Mech Hanger. How's that?
Yeah. Sure.
Mech Hanger.
Now entering the MechBay Hanger.
See, I hate Michael Bay that much that I didn't even say MechBay Hanger. I just call it Mech Hanger.
I'm going to call it the Michael Bay Mech Hanger.
The Right Honorable Michael Bay Memorial MechBay Hanger.
Yeah. The door explodes open whenever you walk in.
Yeah, lots of explosions. And this one, I thought, it's been over a year, and we've talked so much about mechs. And obviously you guys hate mechs because you don't make any anymore and you don't watch anything, so
That's not true.
So this MechBay Hanger, this topic is going to be top 5 non-mech animes. Let's talk about non-mech animes that we all enjoy. Because, hey, we do like things that aren't just mechs, and this will give us some context to why we like what we like. And I think 90% of mine somehow connect back to mech anime in some way anyway, so...
Yes, mine do not, actually.
So, who wants to start? Who wants to go first? Actually, Brian, you go first, because I know that at the end there's going to be a lot of honorable mentions, so you might as well start.
Sure. So, I'll start with, how about one that's a little bit briefer to talk about? So shows that won't ever come up on this list again. And movies, we included the option for that. So, an anime movie that I absolutely love is this one called Your Name by Motoko Shinkai, and I think I just pronounced his name wrong. I apologize. But it just came out like a year or two ago, and it crushed it in the Japanese box office. It was like the top grossing movie in Japan for like 12 weeks or something like that. Not consecutive. I think that was only 10 or 8 weeks or something, but it made gangbusters. It's this really fun movie that's one part like body swapping, like gender swap, where these two characters are connected kind of mysteriously to one another, and every now and then they will switch bodies. And one's this high school kid living in the big city, and one's this girl who lives out in the rural countryside of Japan. And shenanigans ensue, to say the least. But it's very much more than the kind of that's kind of the simple premise that takes up like the first maybe half hour of the movie, and then it really expands into a whole lot of other things. The movie's absolutely gorgeous. This is the same director that's done things like A Place is Promised in our early days, 5 centimeters per second, and I'm missing another one that's slipping my mind, and I'm kicking myself. But basically, he's known for like beautiful like vistas and horizons, cityscapes, cloudscapes, things like that, and really gut-punching stories. So it's one where you're really not sure how it's going to end until it does. So yeah, it's fun kind of romantic comedy with a little less comedy. There's a good helping of drama in there too. So check out Your Name.
There you go. Your Name. Pat, what do you got?
So probably one of the first anime things that I enjoyed, other than Gundam, was a little show in America called Starblazers.
Nice.
Which was called Space Battleship Yamato in Japan. It was a science fiction anime series. It was produced and written by Yoshinobu Nishizaki. It's an old one. It came out in the 70s in the States, 74 in Japan. Basically, Earth is being attacked by a race called the Gamelons. And they are, instead of just attacking, they're just launching planet bombs from their galaxy that just irradiates Earth. And so it forces the population underneath the ground, and then after a while, the radiation starts to seep in the ground. So they only have like a year before all life on Earth is extinguished. Then they get help from, I don't know what to call it, from another planet.
I can't. The names escape me too.
It's Queen Starsha. I remember it's Queen Starsha, but the planet that she's from is called Iskandar.
Yeah,
it's in the song.
Yeah.
She says she's got this cosmic DNA that'll help revive Earth. So they rebuild the old Yamato battleship, which gets its name changed in America to Argo. And upgraded with all kinds of new weapons and wave motion cannon, which is probably one of the coolest weapons ever.
It's pretty cool.
And they take that year-long trip to Iskandar to get what it needs the whole time. There was a live-action movie made. It was kind of okay. They took some liberties changing it. So they almost made Starship Troopers, where the Gamelons were like these bug-like creatures. It was kind of, at that point, they lost me. The action in the live action was really good. The dog fighting and the ships fighting. The wave motion cannon. It was awesome.
Aerosmith did the exit song.
In the movie?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I didn't get that far. I mean, I finished the whole movie, but I didn't think I listened to the end credits.
No.
I mean, I own it. So maybe I'll have to go back
You have to go back and listen to it?
Yeah.
I'll link it to you later.
Yeah, but, Deathlock was the Gamelon leader, always trying to hunt down the battleship Argo, or Space Battleship Yamato. I'm going to call it Battleship Yamato.
Yeah. Yamato's great.
Because that's what I was... I started with Starblazers, and I moved into Yamato
the real
itself.
stuff.
Yeah. So it was one of those cartoons I watched before I would go to school in the morning. I'd get up, watch that, get in the shower, eat breakfast, go to school. So, yeah. And it's still one of my fan favorites. It's a nostalgic favorite. Like, I have the live-action DVD / Blu-ray.
You have a model of it, too, don't you?
I do have a model of it.
Yeah,
I have Derek Wildstar's plane in that thing, too. I want
really
to get,
cool.
Yeah, I want to get one of the fighters, the Tiger fighters.
Fun.
So, yeah, it holds a lot of nostalgia for me.
If you like Battlestar Galactica, you'd like that show.
Yes, very much so. Except for a whole fleet, there's one ship.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty good. I'm going to go reverse chronological order. How's that for you people?
Okay.
Sure.
My first TV show is from 2005, so it doesn't start too recently, but it's called Ergo Proxy. It's,
nice.
It's set in a future where humans and androids coexist peacefully until a virus gives the robots self-awareness, causing them to commit a series of murders. And it's really about Inspector Real Mayer, and she's a super hot goth-looking girl who's assigned to investigate the murders, and it gets crazy from there. And I won't ruin anything, but yeah, really, I think I found it because of her look. She looked very cool. And then I watched the show, and it's a great show. And it's also directed by Shuko Murasai, and he also directed some Gundam stuff, so there you go, some mech connection. He directed F-91 and Victory, and he helped design the Gundam wing characters, so there you go. So it's his vision helped create Gundam wings, so you can see it's got that nice visual tone. But it's a very dark kind of show, very cop drama, and I like it a lot. It was a really good show that I enjoyed. So that is my first one, is Ergo Proxy. And Bryan, what do you got next?
Okay. A lot of my sci-fi stuff are taking a back seat because so much of them I'll probably try to find a way to talk about on the show. So continuing shows that I'll never talk about on the show any other time. Rurouni Kenshin is the show about this wandering samurai, or Ronin really, who has a sword with the blade on the opposite side. Basically, my East Asian history teacher is going to get really mad at me for not remembering the different eras of Japan. But I believe it was the Meiji Restoration. Basically, when samurai were getting outlawed and like the imperial Japan was really, upgrading itself to guns and weapons like that. The having katanas and stuff was getting outlawed, and so the Batosai, our main character named Kenshin, he was known as the Manslayer. So during the war, he was this elite soldier fighting on the opposite sides for the imperial forces, and this is kind of afterwards. He's kind of, in a way, kind of put down his sword by placing the blade on the opposite side. So it's on the inside of the curve of a katana. And I don't know enough about katanas to tell you any more about that. But basically, he makes his sword like a bludgeoning weapon. And he can hit you wicked fast. And so it's him kind of having adventures with these friends that he makes along the way. And fighting bad guys, whether they're remnants of rebels trying to or outlaws trying to take on the school or capture these people or just cause chaos. He fights a dude with a Gatling gun at one point, like someone shooting at him, and he's able to run across really quick. It's a really great. It started as a manga, had an anime TV show that went for several seasons, and then there was a set of live action movies that were done that were really good. I actually haven't watched those movies yet, but I have them. They're staring at me right now. And so if you like feudal Japan samurai, right at kind of that turn of the century as it was modernizing, definitely check it out. It's a really good show, especially if you maybe have younger kids, maybe if they might be interested in that kind of thing. It's a really solid show for that audience.
I don't know, Brian. You suggesting shows for younger kids? I don't know if we could trust you.
It's fine. It's fine. I swear.
Cool.
All right, Pat. What do you got next?
All right. So the next one that I got is also another older anime cartoon that I watched when I was a child. This is one I would watch when I got home from school. In America, it was called Battle of the Planets.
America.
It was called Battle Planets. In Japan, it was called Science Ninja Team Gatchaman.
Oh, yes, of course.
So this one is basically just 5 young people. They're ninjas, but they're given special powers. And they're employed by an agency. I can't remember the name of the agency, but they were there to to fight against a force called Spectra, which was trying to take over the Earth with Earth resources, and it was led by a guy named Zoltar, who was always a masked individual. You just never saw his face. But they all had little they were trained in different things like, God, I can't remember. I know they're Japanese names, but I can't remember their. Mark was the leader and the pilot. And then Jason was the weapons guy and the race car driver. So they all have their own vehicles that all docked into the main vehicle, which was kind of cool. And then Princess was the girl. She rode the motorcycle, and she was, I can't remember what her deal was. Was she a computer? I think she was a computer expert. And then Kiop was the clone. He just clicked and talked and said a few words, but I never understood what his deal was. And he rode this, but then he rode around this little kind of track vehicle that looked like a frog. It was weird. He wasn't my favorite character of all. And then Tiny, who was the big guy, was the main pilot. And he was the one that piloted the Phoenix and was called God Phoenix in Science Team. But it was pretty cool. They were all based on their costumes were all based on different birds. Like the leader, Mark was an eagle. Jason was a condor. The girl was a swan. And Kiop was a swallow, and big guy Tiny was an owl. Now that was it was cool because they did all kinds of cool little ninja things that they were, but because their powers were based on birds, they kind of flew in a sense too. Like a lot of things were combined with flying with them. But then as the years go past, they actually got a comic book which was really good. It was a 12-part comic book, and it was really dark because the race car guy, Mark, who was the weapons guy, was really tormented, and the guys who were running the thing, they would call on him to actually assassinate people. Nice. And so he was assassinating people while the other team didn't know he was actually killing these people. So, and then, but it was, in a sense, it was a nice little thing. So, it's the standard, trying to figure out what the bad guy's doing, fight the big bad guy at the end, and then I'll go home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty fun show. There's recently I was watching the show. I don't know if you've seen the channel Toy Galaxy. He does toy reviews on YouTube, but he also does histories. Yeah. He did the history of G-Force, and it's really complex because there's like so many different versions, but it's really interesting if anybody's interested in seeing about that show. Because it had so many different versions and American versions.
The American version is way different than the Science Team or Science Ninja Team.
Yeah, Gatchaman.
Yeah.
And it was...
they rewrote it to make it more appealing.
And then it was released twice in the States as two different things, and it's crazy.
I remember it as G-Force back in the day, yeah.
Exactly. It was G-Force was slightly different than what's the first
Gatchaman.
one? And
Battle of the Planets.
Battle of the Planets. Battle of the Planets was like a very like G-rated one, where G-Force was a little bit more realistic to the Gatchaman. So it was, it's pretty crazy, but really cool show. And I think it's finally out. I think on Blu-ray, the actual show, so you can watch it in English and not just get the Battle of the Planets version. Although you might want to see the Battle of the Planets version since that's more your nostalgia hit.
Yeah, I do them both because, when I got old enough to realize that this was an anime, Japanese cartoon translated to America, I went back and started looking at Battleship Yamato and Science Ninja Team Gatchaman and all that thing. So
yeah, catch up on all the stuff you got the taste of.
Yeah,
cool. My turn.
Yep.
Mine's 1998. I'm down to. And that's Trigun. Trigun is hilarious. It's a story about a man called Vash the Stampede, and he's it's in a Wild West, kind of futuristic Wild West, and he's followed around by two insurance company employees who follow him around because everywhere he goes, damage inevitably gets caused, and most of the time it's not his fault. He's kind of hapless. He kind of lost his memory, and all these people are trying to kill him but he doesn't know why. He's got a $60 billion bounty on his head, and he just kind of like wanders around, and people try to kill him, but he's either very lucky or very skilled and just pretending not to be, but he gets through it all, and it's a really funny series, and it had movies and comics and tons of stuff revolved around it, but that original series was hilarious, and I suggest anybody who wants a good laugh, go watch Trigun.
Yeah, if you're fans of Firefly, that's definitely an anime to check out.
Yeah, it's definitely that kind of world where it's futuristic, but it's still like Western. So people have big guns and crazy, like he dresses in like a big trench coat and big hat, and he's iconic looking and pretty great series. And I used to have
a desert planet.
Yeah, and I used to have a Vash toy, but I don't know where he went. He was cool.
Oh, neat.
Like a nice statue, but yeah, I got it around here somewhere. It's probably buried. I got too much stuff. Anyway, so Brian, what's next for you?
Okay, let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so
100, 200.
So, one of the this is one that kind of has a franchise around it, but one specific entry is this anime called Blood, specifically Blood Plus. So it's a kind of sister series to Blood the Last Vampire, which was an anime movie, and subsequently like its own live action movie and stuff.
Oh, really?
And then there was another series called Blood C from that. But the one I want to highlight is Blood Plus. Basically, it's one involving vampires, both a kind of giant monster version of them, and the kind where they're still kind of people. And we follow around our main character Saya, who at first we believe she's got like anemia, but it comes to find out that she's actually a part vampire, or full vampire, I guess, and that there's these other monstrous vampires that just start sprouting around her, and that her blood has the power basically to destroy these creatures. And she gets this wicked cool sword that she can like slide her hand down, and it has special tracks that lead her blood to the blade. So when she cuts these monsters, her blood gets into them, and they like turn to stone and burst into dust. Really solid show. Like it expands greatly from there. I won't get into it because that would take a while. But basically, it follows her and her kind of tight-knit family around her as more of these monsters pop up, and we find out more about her past and how she came to be. It's tied very closely to like the Vietnam War was like this time she woke up after being like in a slumber for a long time. And so her caretaker father basically found her when he was serving in Vietnam and took her in from there. And so there's this great kind of for lack of a better word, it's kind of the Ohana Lilo and Stitch kind of moment where it's very much about the family.
Ohana.
Ohana means family, and going through this kind of both kind of horrific and terrifying ordeal, and leads into a good place. So it's probably mostly a drama show, and with a good chunk of action and a romance and whatnot. But it's a good show. Blood Plus, it can be tricky to find it these days because they had a very limited printing of it. But if you can track it down online, I recommend checking it out.
All right.
Yep, I saw it. It was a great show back in the day. I really enjoyed it. It was during my vampire phase, and I think it was pretty cool.
There's quite a few vampire shows out. That's like a mid-2000s, I think, is when that one came out. But or early 2000s, maybe.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
But it's a solid one. I find that it's the whole of it is better than maybe the sum of its parts. Like it's like 50 episodes long, so it's got some weaker arcs to it. Dips and at certain points, but overall, I really find the story compelling. And I have a prop version of her sword.
Nice.
So that's cool.
Oh.
Cool. Pat, what you got?
All right. The next step in my childhood was a little special show called Ultraman.
Mm.
There you go.
So basically, it follows the same format as every other anime superhero, where you got the fictional superhero who gets his powers from space. This guy's actually bonded with another alien who was sent to by what were they called?
Oh, I can't remember Ultraman.
I can't remember the name. The Edu or something like that. I think they're called Edu. Sent to fight against the giant monsters that were plaguing Earth. There was a science division, I think they were called, right? That was formed to help fight the monsters, and so one of the guys in the science division was Secret Ultraman, and they were able to keep his identity hidden as Ultraman throughout the show. But, this Ultraman is spawned many, many different versions of itself. While originally not an anime, it was a live-action TV series. It quickly went into anime. And then in the 80s, quickly, I guess the first version of that was called the Ultraman. That was in 1980, I think. I want to say. As an anime, and then a couple movies, and then now re-released to Netflix as Ultraman, which is actually really good. If you haven't seen it, go to Netflix and watch that version, Ultraman, which is the son of the guy who was Ultraman originally.
Oh, cool.
So spoilers.
Too late. You're supposed to say that first.
Oh, is that how that works?
No.
Yeah, but, it was really cool with him. He had a variable rays of weaponry and beams that shot out from his hands, and you could throw these energy stars that look like saw blades from his ear if you put his hand to his ear and shot it forward. It was just one of those great shows that you saw in the 78s, and in the 70s and 80s that were coming from Japan. the cool thing was that Ultraman wasn't invincible. He had this little gem on his chest that as the battle kept going longer, he'd run out of power. Mm-hmm. And he'd have to, and his power and his life force were connected to that thing. So he'd always have to retreat in the first battle because the monster was kicking his butt and he was running out of energy. And then he'd come back the second time after they figured out how to beat him and then put some whooping down.
Yeah, the good old formula.
Yeah.
Yeah, those early shows, they definitely had a formula.
So one of the things I was reading a while back ago when when Ultraman came back on Netflix, I was like, let's go back and refresh on what I remember about Ultraman. Is that so? There were 3 different variations of Ultraman during the filming of the TV show because it was made out of a scuba suit.
Oh yeah,
and didn't last long. So they were just the latex coating on the scuba suit just would start to deteriorate. So they throughout the seasons, they had to commission new ones. So that's why when you watch the original series, he looks different 3 different times.
That's funny.
Nice.
Cool. Yeah, you're getting the classics. We all got all the different eras here. I think it's working out.
Yeah. Well, thanks for you, Rob.
Yeah. Mine is 1997. I'm getting all the famous ones in now, because this one is Cowboy Bebop. Everybody knows this one, but
yeah,
I didn't know it was created by the creator of Code Geass, though. Did you know that?
Yes,
that's pretty cool. It's about we talk about Firefly. Trigun's Firefly. This is Firefly. It's Spike Spiegel. He's an exiled former hitman, and his partner Jet Black, and they're pretty much careers, kind of pirates, kind of do whatever jobs they come across. And they get joined by Faye Valentine, who's a con artist, Edward Wong, who's a crazy girl who's like the hacker, but she's nuts, and Ein, which is a genetically engineered Welsh corgi with human intelligence. And this crazy group, my
friend named his dog Ein.
There you go. That's perfect. Yeah, they just go on adventures and get into trouble. And it's pretty much it's pretty fun. They get in trouble with like Spike's old friends who are all like criminals, and there's government's always getting in the way of their jobs, and it's a nice little series. It's not too long, and it's a classic for a reason, and it's fun. And great music, obviously. It's known for its jazz kind of soundtrack.
That was Yoko Kanno.
Yes.
The same one that did the ExFil.End soundtrack and a whole bunch of others. Yeah. A lot of the Macross stuff.
Yeah, really, really great. And it's a great show. I'm sure most people who are listening right now have seen it, but if not, go watch it. Brian, what do you got?
Well, like on the Bebop note, like I landed the movie on Blu-ray from a used game store like a couple months back. I think I mentioned it on the show. I was like, this is a really good price for this movie. But yeah, if you can track that down, it's a fantastic show. The next one, so this can go into the category of kind of a weird one. It's this anime called Revolutionary Girl Utena. And I don't know if either of you guys have heard of that one.
No, not that I know of.
Okay.
Where to start?
Yeah. So the premise is, in a very broken down sense, that there's this school where there's this fencing competition that happens, and the winner is given this one student is kind of presented as the Rose Bride. It's this competition about flowers and stuff like that. Basically, during the duel, both contestants are wearing this rose pin or like flower corsage, and their opponent has to slice the flower off their uniform. Is how it goes, and the winner gets this one student named Anthe. And basically, we follow this girl Utena, who kind of sees the situation, sees that it's really weird, and she's like, well, Anthe looks like she hates where she's at, and so I'm going to join this competition, and she winds up winning, so she then has the Rose Bride with her, and they have wacky adventures in this sword competition that it's a really strange show. It's got a heaping helping of metaphor and stuff to it. It's a lot to unpack, and I cannot do it justice in such a short time. But if you're fans of like Sailor Moon, and shows like that, it's definitely one to check out. It's got some really raw, hitting emotional moments to it, with some backstabbing and betrayal and stuff like that. Obviously, it's this big like fencing competition where the prize is this one girl who kind of keeps moving back and forth between people. So it's already odd out of the gate, but it's yeah. I recommend it to people that might be into it. If you have more questions, feel free to message me separately, and I can go into more detail. But it's a strange abstract show that it's good though. It's rock solid.
Cool. Kid friendly?
Not kid friendly. Late teens at least, I would say.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of stuff that goes on at that school.
I would say most anime is not kid friendly.
And yeah.
Okay, Pat, what's your next one here?
All right, so sticking into the Aero Disco in that area. Again, still haven't left. I don't think I've left the 70s yet.
I think you got to 1980, maybe.
Yeah, but I'm taking a step back to the early 70s now. Again, this is another one that I used to watch after school. And especially enough, this one started itself as a manga before it turned into an anime. And that was called Mach Go 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 or Speed Racer.
Oh. Nice.
Here it comes.
Yes, so this was probably the great, first of all, you're talking about racing cars.
I love it.
In the weirdest, no conventional racetracks.
And sentient monkeys.
Sentient monkeys. Well, it wasn't sentient. He was just really smart.
Wow.
So many people die in these races.
Because monkeys are sentient to begin with.
Yeah, I guess so.
But then it turned into an anime, and that's where I jump on board. Basically, you got your protagonist, Speed Racer, who is the main driver for the Mach 5, which is a supercar. It's got all kinds of great things. He's like one of the best racers in the universe.
Except for Racer X.
I wasn't getting there. Racer X, who is the greatest one, and is secretly his older brother, Rex.
Spoilers again. Jeez.
Oh man!
If you haven't seen that horrible movie,
yeah,
it causes seizures at the end.
The Wachowski movie, yeah.
Yeah, it was bad.
I've never seen it. Luckily,
it was horrible.
I kind of like it, but for the wrong reasons, probably.
There you go.
But Racer X becomes Racer X after he has a fight with his dad. After his dad was saying that you're not good enough or you're not ready yet to be a professional racer. So he does anyway. He steals the car and wrecks it.
That's
his name's
name.
Rex.
Yes, wrecks it. So he goes off and runs away and becomes Racer X. So then he's always mentoring Speed while racing him. Sometimes he actually loses a race to Speed on just
give him some confidence.
Yeah, because he's always saying that you could always be a better racer than me to him throughout the whole thing. Then he's got his little kid Spritle with his little very smart monkey Chim Chim, who was always, for some reason, always stowing away in the trunk.
Yep, he always hid in the trunk.
Always stowed away in the trunk to get in
block that thing, man.
Everyone acknowledges that this is life or death, and I'm going to go help because, I'm 7.
Like you really emphasized that, like, people died during these races because the cars just go careening off into the horizon and explode.
which was funny is they don't ever show. It's implied that these people are dead because when they crash spectacularly.
Yeah.
Or they go flying off into a canyon.
It was also an era of when in actual races, in real life, race car drivers died all the time. So I think that was just considered, that's what happens in a race. You crash, you die.
Then there was Trixie, his girlfriend, who always helped. And then Sparky was the mechanic that helped with Pops create the Mach 5.
Yeah.
It was just good, all fun because it was one of the few animes out there that like sometimes while it was a different show kind of per episode, they had quite a few episodes where they were linked in the continuing. So it's almost like watching a drama kind of a thing.
Yeah.
They had the big giant race with the mammoth car, which was a giant train-looking truck thing. It was weird. But one of the things that drew me to this is that it was the car itself, man. The Mach 5 is an iconic car.
It looks so cool.
Yeah, and the different things it could do. It had special treads that allowed it to grip the side of something so it could ride sideways. It had saw blades so it could race through forests. There's an extra one where it's literally racing a forest and just cutting trees down.
Yeah,
terrible
bulletproof windshield in the back.
Yeah, it had the windshield that would pop in so they can go underwater. It had a remote control bird that would fly out of the hood. And the most iconic thing was the hydraulic jacks that shot up the bottom that made it jump with the iconic noise. So, yeah.
Dexter's Laboratory had a really fun tribute episode to that with soapbox derby cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, slot racers, those racetracks that you used to buy when you were a kid, I think I don't even think they make them anymore.
Did you have
it? I had a Mach 5 slot racer.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Nice. That's awesome.
So, yeah. So, Speed Racer, man, other than the movie, the comic books have been really good. The anime itself has been really good. I think in 1990 they re-released it.
Oh, neat.
And it's got one of the best theme songs ever.
Yes.
Go.
Yes, they re-released it in 1993 in America with the contemporary art style.
Nice.
Cool. So. Speed Racer.
What do you got, Rob?
You pulled that one out. This one's cheating, and I fully admit it, but there may be Mecha in this show. But it's not really about that at all. It is 1995's Ghost in the Shell. I'm talking about the movie, not the TV show. The TV show's good, but the movie's great. Yeah, there is Mecha in it, but come on.
I almost took that one, but I took it off my list because of that.
Well,
I took it off my list too.
Well, this is my MechBay Hanger. I make the rules, so this is going in.
Or break them.
I break the rules when I want to. Created by Masamune Shiro, who also created Appleseed. So there you go, some more tying into mech shows. It was directed by Mamoru Oshii, who also directed Pet Labor. And it's all about Major Kusanagi, who's like an agent of the government, and she hunts down the mysterious hacker known as the Puppet Master, and crazy stuff happens, and she does fight a giant mech at the end. Sorry. And then they went on to have a TV show. It was original manga, which was great too, but it is a great show. And it really influenced me into liking anime. It's one of this and the next one are the two that were like, this made me love anime in all its forms. And later realized that, hey, I already liked anime because I liked Robotech, but I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
How did anyone see the movie?
Yeah.
The live action one?
It wasn't bad. It got a lot of flack because Scarlett Johansson was cast as the Major. But it was all that was kind of what the thing was about. It was a Japanese girl stuck in this white girl's body. Like, that's what the show was about. People prejudged it, and it was fine. It was not great, but it was fine.
I didn't see it, so.
I think it did capture a lot of the original movie. Like, there were some really good scenes that really captured it.
If you think it was okay, then I will actually watch.
It was okay. Yeah, it wasn't great. It was okay. For an adaptation, a live action adaptation of an anime, I think it was one of the better ones. But that's not saying much. I haven't seen Battle Angel yet, which I will be seeing it soon.
That one's really good.
That was really good.
Yeah, that's the one everybody says is the best. But eventually, I'll get to that one.
I thought Starblazers was going to be a good one. They took too many. They changed. It went a little crazy.
No, yes. Yeah. Sorry, that's the ending theme again. But no, Ghost in the Shell is a masterpiece of a movie, and the TV show, I argue, is still some of the best TV on television. Like, the stuff they talk about is futuristic enough to be science fiction, but it really is just like on the cusp for a lot of different things with robotics and artificial intelligence and cybersecurity and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's right on the brink, which makes it incredibly compelling.
Yeah, when it came out, it was science fiction, but now everybody's catching up. This tech is not that far off. Like,
yeah, but and still like really kind of fulfilling that too. It's not the kind of sci-fi where the tech gets really like surpassed.
Yeah.
In a huge way, but like, I mean, they practically plug like USB plugs into their necks where they have like a little cyber brain thing. Like, it's all, like I said, it's like right on the edge of current technology, and the show is over 15 years old or something now.
More than that, 25 years old.
Well, the movie, yeah.
Yeah, the movie, that's what I'm saying, yeah.
The TV show was like 05, I think.
Yeah, something like that, yeah. Yeah, crazy. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, even in the movie, there's like at one point she has like a invisibility cloak kind of thing on, or her suit turns invisible, and the guy she's chasing has the invisibility cloak. But that stuff is they're creating that technology now with like active camouflage and things. It's pretty amazing what it's come from it, and all the cybernetics and stuff is obviously coming true. It's pretty cool. So there you go, Brian. What do you got next?
Okay, so this one I'm not.
This is your final one, I think.
This is my final one, so it's a big one. So there's this franchise that's core series is called Fate Stay Night. It's known for Fate / and then kind of a subsequent section. There's Fate Zero. There's Fate Unlimited Blade Works. There's Fate Apocrypha. There's a handful. It's a whole franchise at this point that's really kind of exploded and taken off. It was made in the mid 2000s, I think 03, 04. And the premise of the show is pretty kind of simple to start, in that basically like 7 mages summon 7 heroic spirits from history and myth to fight each other in this epic battle for the Holy Grail in a very Highlander-esque "there can only be one." And our main character, who's this loser named Shiro, Shiro Emiya, basically draws. Basically, there's different classes for these heroic spirits, and he draws Saber, who's King Arthur, but also a woman. So it's a fun, it started with that one being like their first gender flip, and then if you follow the franchise, they continue to do that to exhaustion in some cases. But it's really fascinating. So the heroes that are in the original series, Fate Stay Night, is King Arthur. You got Cuchulainn from Irish myth. You've got Hercules from Greek myth. Medea, who's also Greek. Medusa. You get famous swordsman, and Kojiro Sasuke. I'm going to get his name wrong. A lot of times they go by their class name, because if you know who they are as heroes, you'll know about like their fatal flaw, right?
You said Medea?
Yeah, Medea.
Tyler Perry's in there?
No.
Terrible.
Not quite. Medea, the witch, the evil witch from the Jason and the Argonauts.
Yes.
And let's see, I feel like I'm missing somebody. Oh well. And Gilgamesh is one of the original heroes. And there's this really fun thing where the guys that made the show really it started off as a visual novel. Which in this context translates to it was a porn game. But they really went the extra mile with the characters that they put together. They did a lot of delving into their backgrounds and really make the characters work in such a way where there's like little bits and pieces of their mythology will find their way into like how these characters interact with one another. A great example in Fate Zero is three kings basically get together and have a feast, and it's King Arthur, known as King of the Knights. There's Alexander the Great, who's King of the Conquerors, and then there's Gilgamesh, who counts himself as King of the Heroes because he was the first one. So like they have this really fun discussion then about like how they ruled and whose way of doing it was better. And so like really, really kind of history, mythology, nerdy kind of stuff. Like you get King Arthur's two different swords, the one that's the Sword in the Stone and one that's the Lady of the Lake gave. Fun stuff like that. So yeah, it's fun for those kind of nerds. It really has exploded. There's so much of it now that it's hard to keep up with. It has a mobile game. It has a cooking anime show. It has a spin-off Magical Girl show, which is not great in my opinion, but
you're not the target audience?
Not the target audience for that, and I wouldn't want to be counted among the target audience of that. It's a Magical Girl show, but it's made for an older audience.
Yeah,
which
girls.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, if you can track it down, the crappy thing is that Aniplex is the ones that did the distribution of it. So the home release. So if you want to get this 2-season, like Fate Zero, for instance, this 2-season show equaling about 26 episodes, I think, will run you a couple $100. But like 400 probably for the whole thing, for an anime show. But it recently has a couple of movies coming out, called Fate Heaven's Feel, which is the third arc of the original story. Basically, the original story had 3 different routes, depending on which heroine your hero chose for his significant other. And but if you are looking to get into it, what I'd recommend probably is Fate Zero. It's a prequel series that came out after the original Stay Night one. It's wonderfully animated. It's a darker story, and if you like that, you can check out Fate Stay Night. It's a little bit lighter in tone, or Fate Unlimited Blade Works, which would be kind of the direct sequel from Zero. Same studio, kind of working on that, and then you can dive into the craziness that is like Fate Apocrypha, where you get some really, really insane mashups of Mordred and Frankenstein and Spartacus, and just that one goes off the rails. Vlad Tepes, Karna, yeah. It's the perfect environment though for kind of those dream team mashups of heroic figures duking it out for supremacy, and with it, pretty much all of them they do kind of elevate it with. Either their characters' motivations come into play, like they're very intrinsic to the characters' motivations for fighting in this Holy Grail war. Because if you win it, you get one perfect wish, and stuff like that. So it's great. There's just a lot of it now. Well, and I'll stop talking because it can go on forever about that show.
It's crazy. You're a crazy person, and it's. Yeah, it seems like it's daunting to get into it, but worth it if you try.
Yeah, it's definitely worth it, but pace yourself, and you don't need to know absolutely everything at the outset, like some people will tell you need to do. But it's fun.
Okay, after that,
all right.
After that treatise, please, Pat, what is your final one?
My final one. All right, before I start with my final one. I just I was kind of browsing some news for the next time around. But actually, this applies more now to what we're talking about. So, according to this entertainment blog that I see, the Russo brothers' AGBO Studios is developing a Grimjack Comics and a Battle of the Planets live-action movie.
There you go.
No kidding.
Joe Russo, the part that kills me about this at the end, it says Joe Russo says if we were to make it, it would be a live action film, and this is a show that I used to run home to watch after school.
Is he from your neighborhood?
It must be.
That's funny.
They don't say that it says there's no writers on Battle of the Planets yet, but if that happens, that's okay. I mean, the Russos do okay, right?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, they're the guys behind all the best Marvel movies. Yeah,
so I'm slightly. If they do this, I hope they go to the dark side, like the comic books did.
Oh, I'm sure they're going to treat it more adult to get the most people.
Yeah. All right. That being said, an addendum to my earlier stuff. Mm-hmm. My last one is, of course, a very iconic anime film. Anyone who likes anime is probably watched this several times. And it's the film that bumped Cowboy Bebop.
No. What's that?
And that would be Akira.
You stole my number one, you...
I mean, because it's the iconic of the anime films, right?
Yeah. When most people think anime, they think Akira.
Yeah, everyone, I mean, mainstream, even if you're not a big anime fan, I'm sure people argue that Akira is not the most iconic, but you have to look at it as a non-anime fan. Mm-hmm. You know? I'm sure there are definitely other films out there that are probably as good or better, but this is the one that everyone equates anime to.
Well, it was one of the first major films to come from Japan to the States and be popular. And
yeah.
And kind of also showed just how mature their anime was and cartoons could be.
Because you got that singularity that destroys Tokyo, and then this year, Neo Tokyo was built, according to the movie.
Was it this year?
The Japanese Olympics is coming up.
2019, Tokyo was rebuilt as Neo Tokyo.
That's hilarious.
The Olympics they mentioned are actually coming up in Japan.
Yep.
They got the right year.
Neo Tokyo, plagued by corruption, anti-government protests, kind of what's going on now. Terrorism, gang violence, verge on the collapse. It's America.
Biker gangs.
Biker gangs like that. What's the name of the character that has the power?
Tetsuya Kaneda!
Yeah, Tetsu and Kanada is...
Tetsuya Shima and Shotaro Kaneda.
Yeah, Kaneda.
Yeah.
And then there's Kai. And then the guy that's hunting him down, Colonel Shima.
Yeah, in the comic book, he's great. He's my favorite part about the manga. He is hilarious in the manga.
So, I don't even know if it's even worth going over the plot. I mean, because everyone knows it.
Yeah, it's pretty much biker gangs. All of a sudden, there's a weird psychic kids, and all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
It doesn't end well.
Doesn't Tetsuo start a singularity to destroy Neo Tokyo?
No,
because he loses control of his powers, right?
Yeah, because Akira is the one who did it originally, and then he's kind of been frozen, and it's Tetsuo is kind of getting in contact with Akira to bring it all back and cause the end of Neo Tokyo again for the third time or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Kaneda's got to stop his friend with the help of
Shotaro.
Space satellites that shoot lasers and things like that. But yeah, great movie, and it's a classic.
It is a classic.
Since it's the same as mine, I'll add to it that a movie is on track with Taika Waititi is directing, so that's going to be good. It got pushed back because of Thor 4, but it's supposed to happen. And also an Akira sequel is coming from the original creator, from Keshiro Otoma. So
now Warner Brothers has the rights for the live action film.
I think so.
Yeah, and it originally like back in the 90s or 2000s, early 2000s. Originally, it was Leonardo DiCaprio's company. Was
he was making a big push.
He was trying to get it to made, and at the time, he's like, it can't be done. But now, I think with computer technology and graphics, and I can imagine this being crazy. And Taika Waititi is the kind of crazy guy who might be able to pull it off. So that'll be fun.
It's kind of like that, like Battle Angel, right? Like it was something that lots of these, creators in Hollywood knew about and really wanted to do.
Yeah, James Cameron forever was trying to make it.
Yeah, and Robert Rodriguez and
he finally did it. Yeah, this is one of those ones that it's going to happen because it's the technology. I also love that this is such an iconic movie. Have you ever seen those motorcycles that they built off of Kaneda's bike in real life? It's like, that's so cool.
Well, there was a guy, I think his name is Kevin Tran. He was on Supernatural as one of the prophets, if you ever watched Supernatural.
Yeah.
But him and his friends tried to do a live action Akira, and they actually did a poster with the bike and him with the red jacket and everything on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he has a good look for Kaneda, actually. Back in the day, especially, yeah.
So I wish I could remember if they actually did a short or they just did a...
Just did a little, yeah. Yeah, there's been a lot of attempts, and it is a classic for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
And, at the time, I think it was the highest costing anime movie, and then the highest grossing one, too. It's been passed since then, but...
There was a trailer, and it was on the website was akira-project.com.
They made him take it down, or is it still up there?
I don't know. I'm gonna look.
But, fun stuff, Akira.
Yeah.
Well, I think that covers it pretty good. We went on for a long time talking about these animes. See,
it turned into a Facebook page, but the trailer's on there.
Cool. So
nice.
We'll put the link in the show notes so you can watch the trailer for that Akira short. And I think we'll get into the ExFil. Get out of here before Bryan thinks of some more shows.
Oh, I've been thinking about him. Honorable mention, Outlaw Star.
Let's ExFil out of here.
Alright, welcome to the ExFil. We've had a long one here. We had a lot to talk about, all those non-mech animes, but we'll promise next time we'll be back to a mech topic. I believe it's Pat, you're next, Chopper?
Yes. No, it's Bryan.
Oh, is it Bryan? I don't keep track of these things.
It's Bryan, because I just did the last one.
I don't remember last month. Come on. Oh yeah, Bryan. Bryan, start thinking of a new one then.
I'll think of something.
Yeah, think of something. And, go to our Discord. You can find the links in the show notes. And you can go to our Facebook page, Twitter. We have everything. Please, discuss your favorite stuff in this, post on Facebook. And, we'd love to hear from you. Anything else, guys? Anything else we have to cover before we get out of here? And this national nightmare?
Why is it a nightmare?
Because it was non-mech related.
Oh, true.
That's fair.
But I think, like you said, it was a good way of people to understand where we came from and where our backgrounds are.
Yeah, well, it's easy to say you like Gundam, but it's the other stuff that really defines you. And Bryan, we've got a nice vision into your psyche now. How's that feel?
Yep. Yeah, it's great, everybody. And there's plenty more shows that couldn't make the list.
Yep, and if you could just ask Bryan, he'll send you a list of shows to go watch.
Yeah, all of them.
And until next time, I've been Rob.
I've been Bryan.
And I've been Chopper.
Yay, we got it right. And we'll be back next month for more Mecha Madness.
We'll have a lot of Gen Con talk.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll see what we get from Gen Con mech related, and I'm sure there'll be a lot. So there we go. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
This has been Mobile Armor Radio. Join our Facebook group by searching for Mobile Armor Radio. Find us on Twitter at @MArmorRadio. Find us on iTunes and visit our website, mobilearmorradio.podbean.com. Join us on the first of every month for more mecha discussion.